Morning, everyone. I'm Theodore Morgan with your first tropical update from Weatherscope JA. I must say that I'm really thrilled to be with this weather community for the very first time, and I know we'll have a wonderful time covering the tropics together. Tropical weather is just really fascinating. It is an awesome thing to just enjoy the tropics and all the weather features that it has to offer. And now I'm going to dive right in to our Atlantic tropical weather update. So what we see here is our infrared satellite imagery. And if we zoom in right here, this is covering the entire Atlantic basin. So as we can see in the Caribbean basin, there is not much going on except for the extreme southern Caribbean, where we have some convective flare-up right there. That's off the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras, also Panama and Costa Rica and Venezuela. You see some convective flare-up down there. Also in the eastern convective flare-up down there. Also in the eastern Pacific, we'll get to that later. But much of the Caribbean we can see is dominated by dry air and fair skies. We can see there's a lot of upper level wind shear in the atmosphere. Just looking at this satellite, we can see all those high level cirrus clouds being sheared off from the thunderstorms far down to the south. Yeah, that indicates lots and lots of vertical wind shear in the atmosphere, which is really making things very hostile for any form of tropical development at all. So it's very unlikely we'll see anything anytime soon. The mid-Wilmer region is also very quiet. Only a few thunderstorms here and there across the intertropical convergence zone, but lots and lots of dry, stable air that we can see here. Look at these clouds right here. These are some low-level stratocumulus clouds right here. Very dry, stable atmosphere. Not much going on at all. The only place we may have to watch is this blob right here, actually. Let me see if I can possibly get a highlighter and just highlight it. Can I? Unfortunately, that feature seems to be hidden from me at the moment. So I will just continue. Okay, so yeah, right here off the southern United States in the Gulf of Mexico, we can see there's a little frontal system here. Frontal system which is generating some showers and thunderstorms, and that could possibly spin up in a week or so from now, or less, maybe a couple of weeks or less than that. It just depends on how everything evolves. But maybe in the next 5 to 7 days, we could possibly have an area of interest right here, tagged by the National Hurricane Center for some potential tropical cyclone development. I wouldn't expect it to be anything too significant, however. It could be a moderate tropical storm, maybe 50 miles to 60 miles per hour, or it could be just a weak storm of about 40 to 45 miles per hour, which is the most likely scenario, but I would not rule out a mid-range tropical storm at this point. But however, conditions would have to go right for that. The shear would have to really decrease a whole lot, and yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna decrease enough to allow for significant development, but we'll continue to monitor it because something could come out of that. Okay, so as we are here looking at the satellite imagery, let me just see if I can go to the Western Atlantic and just zoom in on Jamaica for a bit. I just want to show you what's going on over our island right here. Okay, so as we can see, you're just waiting for this to stabilize itself. Okay, good. As we can see over the island of Jamaica, there is not much of anything going on at this moment. And so Yeah, very dry, very stable. No morning showers, maybe. I'm not sure, but based on this satellite imagery right here, it looks to be just a few patches of low level clouds over the eastern part of Jamaica, maybe Portland, St. Thomas. However, I don't think there's any rain going on in any of these. If anything, it would be some very, very, very light rain, if any at all, but nothing significant. Over Hispaniola, yeah, mostly dry as well. Just a few clouds, low level clouds moving by. Could have some brief passing showers in them, but nothing significant over Cuba as we try right now. In the afternoon, though, we could see some convective activity flare up over some parts of the Great Antilles due to daytime heating. Nothing major, but there could be a few thunderstorms here and there. Maybe over parts of Jamaica, over Hispaniola, over Cuba. And we see this feature down here near Trinidad and Tobago, right? Some convective flare up right there. That could actually be a tropical wave passing by over there. Lesser Antilles, mainly fair, nothing much to speak about. As we know, we're in a very dry pattern and we're being dominated by an El Nino. And so I'll get into that more soon. Let's look at the forecast models and see what they have to say about conditions across our basin. Let's go into the Western Atlantic. Alright, and so we're now at 12Z on Monday. I think that should be about, let's see, let me just see something. Okay, so 18Z is 7 p.m., 0Z is 1 a.m., 6Z is 7 a.m., I think 12Z, if I'm not mistaken, should be 1 p.m. And so this is valid for July 13, 2026. And we can see the GFS model shows nothing across Jamaica at the moment. Yeah, nothing at all across Jamaica, according to the GFS model. Look down in 18Z, still the same thing. Maybe a few patches of precipitation off the northeast of Jamaica and slightly to the east as well. One dot of precipitation over St. Mary, it seems. Another one dot over the western part of the island, maybe northwestern St. Elizabeth, but nothing major at all expected today. Pretty fair and dry day, and that's due to the fact that we have the Saharan dust. We also have very strong trade winds blowing across the Caribbean at this moment, and lots of dry air. Now Tuesday, going through Tuesday is pretty much the same, not much of anything. Going through Wednesday, same. Going through to Thursday, just a few showers here and there over the western part of the island, but nothing significant at all to be spoken of. And we do see, let me just backtrack for a bit, we do see a bit of an interesting feature right here over the southwestern Caribbean. Yeah, nice flare up of rainfall activity, it seems. That could be due to a tropical wave, you know, encountering a bit more moist environment as it heads westward into the Caribbean. And so that could result in it flaring up some more convective activity. But that's not going to be for us, that's going to be for Central America, and I think that will eventually drift into the Eastern Pacific Basin. As we go forward, into Thursday, nothing much. Friday, nothing much. Saturday, nothing much. Well, maybe one dot of rain Sunday next week. A little bit of rain over the western and central part of the island, but nothing much. And I'll stop it on Monday. Yeah, just a few patchy showers here and there, nothing significant. So we do not expect anything much over the foreseeable future. And I can bet that if I even check the European model, it's going to show the same exact thing. So here we go for today. Yeah, oh well. Yeah, as usual, the Euro is going to show some widespread showers across the island later today. That's not going to happen. Let's continue. Tuesday, nothing much. Only maybe some showers to the east. However, considering the fact that there is no consensus, I'm really not going to buy that scenario. So, but the European does give us a bit, what do you say, a ray of hope where rain is concerned. However, I'm being realistic here. This is not likely to happen given the fact that we do not have any model consensus. So I really am not going to be banking on that scenario at all. I'm just looking right past that at this moment, honestly, because that does not look very likely. And on this channel, I strive to be honest, reliable, dependable, right? Our weather forecasts should bring accurate information to the public. So I'm not going to say that it's going to rain just because I'm trying to lift your hopes up. No, I will only tell you that it's going to rain if I really see evidence that it's going to rain. So if I really don't see the evidence that there's going to be any rain, then there's not going to be any rain. All the way out to Friday on the European model, yeah, even though the Euro was giving some hints of earlier rain, overall, it still has the same dry pattern. And if you notice, it gets even drier as you go out in time. However, the Euro now and then still has some pop-up showers over the island. Not to say that we could not get any of those. There may be instances where some areas across the island do experience some pop-up showers here and there. The GFS kind of hinted at that in some sense as well. However, I'm just saying that the more concentrated areas of rain that I see on the Euro, that would, even in some instances suggest island-wide rainfall. No, I don't see that happening. So I'm not gonna even buy that at this moment. Alright, so we already focused on our satellite imagery. We just looked on our forecast models. Let's look at some data. Let's check the National Hurricane Center for a bit. Let's just check the National Hurricane Center. Pardon me for this. Let's just check National Hurricane Center for a brief moment here. We just want to see what they have. Okay, so on the National Hurricane Center's page, yeah, just as I expected, nothing to watch over the next 7 days. Yeah, we do not really expect anything at all. And that is because if you look on the Pacific side,